I realized I was blinded by my own progress. And I was leading a team once, and one of my executives kept telling me I needed to address this problem in the business. And I kept telling her it's not that big of a deal because, in my mind, relative to the shitstorm I dealt with years ago, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, in the scheme of the worst that I've seen, this is just not that bad. And so I don't think I should go kick these guys out. It was about addressing a franchisee and getting them out of the system. And she looked at me and she said, it might not be as bad as the worst that you've seen, but it is the worst today and it must be handled. And she was new and she saw it with such clear eyes. Like the problem was so clear to her because she just looked at the world as it is with no what I call progress filter. I have a progress filter. I see the world through the lens of how it has improved. I see my company as how much better it is today. It is the best it's ever been. But because it was her first day, it was the worst it will ever be. And I was collided. It was colliding. Like, I'm like, this is the best it's ever been. And she's like, it sucks. This is the worst it'll ever be. That's why you hired me. And so I really appreciated that day one fresh eyes perspective that gets more difficult as we have success because we're blinded by our own progress. So I thought, how do I cut through that and make sure I don't get complacent? And it doesn't mean I'm not successful. It means I'm missing the edge that a new person, a hotshot, would see on their first day. So the exercise is simply this. I used to do it once a quarter, and then it was so easy and effective once a month, and now I do it every Sunday when my kids are at their common nap time. And it takes not even 5 minutes, so fast. So I just pause, get in a quiet space, and I think about my role. My role as leader, my role as mother, my role as wife, whatever I want to improve. And usually it's my professional role. But at least once a month, I think about my role as a wife and a mother because I want to improve in that area as well. So I think of my role, president, COO, focus brands. Step one. Step two, I envision a hotshot, a badass, like a Mr. or Mrs. Potato Head of badassery. All of you genetically modified into one human or one of you. And the trick about identifying the hotshot is it's not to intimidate me. It's not someone that when I think of, it makes me feel like shit because I'm not good enough. It's someone that I admire or I respect or I appreciate. So that's step two. So I think of my role. Step two, I think of the hotshot. Step three, I envision that hotshot taking over my job tomorrow. So you, Erica, literally take over Focus Brands tomorrow. So that's the third. I envision you there. Like I'm actually picturing you leading my team. And then I ask myself, step four, what is one thing, only one, and the very first thing that Erica would do differently to make the company better? And what's funny is when I visualize you in the role with the little bit I know about you, I come up with something. I can think of something immediately that you would be like, wow, I can't believe Kat let that be that way. We're totally going to change that. Like, this is the area I'm going to focus on day one as a leader. And then I ask myself, if I know that that's what Erica would do and I respect Erica and it clearly identifies an area of the business to be addressed, why can't that be me? The next step is I take action on that thing in 24 hours. Action. I hire the person, I fire the person, I address the issue, I make the sales call, I implement the technology, whatever it is, I do it. Then I sit down or on Zoom or call my team or whoever the stakeholders are in that role. If it's my husband, I tell my husband. I practice my weekly hotshot rule. I realize this is one thing in the business that if I were brand new, if I were you, if you were me, that it should be addressed, and I did X. I don't sit down with the team and say, I thought about this. What do you think? I thought about it. I recognized I could do better. I took action on it. I want you to know. And the pattern of that behavior says I'm always reflective. I'm always on a journey to improve. I'm vulnerable enough to continually tell you something. I recognize that there was something I could do better, and I'm action oriented enough to take action on it. And one, that's a powerful culture to build in a company, that I'm constantly on my own thinking about what I can do better, which also then, by the way, invites people to bring ideas for progress and criticism. And it's this combination, it's another framework of my 4 mindsets, but this combination of humility and curiosity on one side, but courage and confidence on the other. I am confident enough in my own skin to admit that I am never doing all things as best as they can be done. And I am comfortable enough in my own skin and in my role to think about and be inspired by how someone else might do it, and to take action when being colored by the idea of their thinking.